Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Retronauts live show happening right now in front of you at Portland Retro Gaming Expo 2024. Thank you so much for coming. And the topic this year is the history of Bowser. I'm sorry if the promo image is misleading. We're actually going to be talking about Doug Bowser, the president of Nintendo. We have pictures of his family. We have satellite images of his house. We're going to be looking at his LinkedIn for about 45 minutes. Somebody please lock the doors. No, of course I'm kidding. We're learning about this big lizard guy. Who is here with me today, as always? Sometimes. Over here.
Only very sometimes. I'm Gary Butterfield. Hello. I'm the Bowser Jr. Anti-Appreciation Society leader. Do not care for that little shit.
Oh, we'll be talking about him. And who is here with me, as always, if not in person, then in spirit?
It's me, Jeremy Parish. I'm just here because I sympathize with the guys who get grabbed by their tail and thrown into mines.
And yeah, I mean, last year's panel, we covered the many adaptations of Mario. Who was here for that last year? Yay, thank you for coming to that one. And it was such a hit, and it was full of such stupid clips that I decided I should do the same thing again, but with slightly different clips. But we're going to learn some stuff today, too. So this is all about Bowser. And of course, we all know about Donkey Kong. He was Mario's first adversary. This panel is not about him, so forget about him, just to establish context. But Mario had no big bad in Mario Brothers, the game that came after Donkey Kong. But Bowser would spawn out of an enemy from that game, and we can take a look at that here in this clip. So yes, that's actually a tip for you. There's a Mario Brothers arcade machine on the show floor, so take that with you. Hit the things from underneath and grab the coin.
You can see that Mario has failed the Voight Kampf test. There's a turtle in the desert, and he's chosen not to turn it over. Why isn't he doing it? He can't answer.
He's the prequel to the Voight Kampf test. He flipped the turtle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in this game, they're called shell creepers. In the Super Mario Brothers series, they're called Noko Noko. So they're different turtles. If somebody tells you that turtle that you just saw is a Koopa, you can shove them down to the ground. Tell them I sent you. But yes, so when it was time to develop a big boss for Super Mario Brothers, Miyamoto decided, let's make a bigger version of the Creeper, and let's call him Boss Creeper. That's him there. That's the best image of him we have, unfortunately.
He does actually look like a Boss Creeper.
Yeah, it's true to the description. And yeah, some of these early drawings were crude. I do have a Miyamoto original drawing of Mario, so that's what he used to look like. He hasn't changed a bit, has he, folks? But yeah, so Boss Creeper is kind of uninspired, so Miyamoto had to give this villain like an inspired name, something to evoke terror in the hearts of players. And like a lot of Japanese creators, he turned to food. Specifically, the Japanese name for a Korean dish. So he landed on Koopa because he thought it was a grilled meat dish. This is where Miyamoto goofed. And he thought this would evoke the idea of this big lizard enemy. Unfortunately, Koopa, known as Gook Bop other places in the world, is a rice dish, which does not evoke any terror or fear. And I think Gook Bop just means rice soup, so beef doesn't have to be part of it.
I challenge the premise that it would have evoked terror if it had just been a beef dish as well.
Well,
I think that Miyamoto wasn't cooking with this one.
Nothing about beef dishes says giant turtle boss to me.
well, so if Miyamoto had checked his sources, we all know how lazy he is, he would have known that what he wanted to call Bowser was bulgogi, and it looks like this. This is what that dish looks like. It's much more Bowser-like, isn't it? So there you have it. So that is bulgogi. Bowser, I'm glad we don't call him bulgogi. King Bulgogi, this series would not have taken off if that was his name. So now he's got a name, he's got a big sprite. It's time to decide on what he looks like outside the limitations of NES graphics. So this is right before Nintendo hires Yoichi Kotabe to redraw all of the original crude Boss Creeper style drawings that Miyamoto did. So Miyamoto had to take a crack at what does this guy look like, and what he comes up with is based on the Ox King character from Journey to the West. It's the source of a lot of Japanese-inspired media, or Japanese media like Dragon Ball, and so on. I don't have to go through all of them. But yes,
Go through all of them.
no.
Just every single one of them.
That's
No, we got
next year's
time.
panel, Gary.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's just
we
going
got
to
time.
be me reading a list for 45 minutes.
An infinite list that just keeps getting added to as you read it.
Yes, it's the Tales from the Crypt version of this panel. No one can leave. We all just starve to death as I read the many Tales Journey to the West adaptations. But yes, so what Miyamoto comes up with is based on the Ox King that is in a 1960 animated version of Journey to the West. I have a clip of the dub here.
Say, listen, how about this? Tell me. That's great. Well, it's my idea, so I'll be the head, all right? And me, I know what I'll be. I forgot something precious.
Forgot what?
I forgot to kiss you goodbye, my darling. Keep your hands to yourself.
What do
You're
you mean?
hurting me.
I haven't done anything.
Now. You keep still down there? Oh, my leg. Now I must be going.
Well, kiss me and go on.
You're lovely. Oh, please, I'm falling. Help! Oh, all right, I have it. Get out.
It was really important that you saw all of that, by the way.
What's actually, Bob, he didn't want to tell you, but he edited that down. They just grunted at each other lustily for like 10 minutes in the original cut. And me and Jeremy both were like, cut that down. We don't need to see every single grunt. Back and forth for like ever.
I thought it was important. But I guess technically that wasn't the Ox King, that was the monkey guy and the pig guy turning into the Ox King to do a prank or something. I didn't watch the entire movie, but that is where Miyamoto's design of Bowser or Koopa comes from. So you can see right there, the blue character is his original idea for Bowser. And so that is when Yoichi Kotabe comes in to redraw the characters, make them more marketable, make them, very, very well rendered, like the Bowser you see on the screen here far to the left. And he thinks that Miyamoto's drawing of Bowser looks too much like a hippo. And you have to understand, this was 40 years before Mudang Mania swept the nation. We didn't care about hippos as much as we do today. So he eventually redrew the character, and he ended up in the instruction manual for Super Mario Bros. 2, the Japanese version. He retains the bulging temple vein, but he kind of goes in his own direction with the design of Koopa in this case. So that is the earliest iteration of Koopa as we knew him back in the past. And now I want to talk about what I call the Bowser Koopa conundrum. And I want to know where my guests on the panel fall on this side, because in Japanese Koopa, and for a lot of our youth, media called him King Koopa, but at a certain point, Bowser really took hold. So I want to know, Jeremy and Gary, where do you sit on the Bowser Koopa line?
I'm a Bowserman, largely due to Mario Kart and the other various extracurricular activities. Seeing they eventually turned into Bowser, and that just felt more canonical to me. And I don't care that much. So it's a
Well, then
combination
why are
of
you
those two
here?
things. No, well, I'm here for Dennis Hopper.
Okay,
I'm here
we're
to do the movie one. I just have to do that every year. Represent the Mario Brothers movie.
It can't go forgotten. And Jeremy, how about you?
I grew up calling him Eggman.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because with Princess Peach we have what I call the Eggman scenario, in which they come up with the localized name for a character, and then they eventually flip back to the Japanese version. So she was Princess Toadstool for a long time, just like how Eggman was Robotnik. I mean, I guess he is Robotnik in the movie, so they're making it even more confusing. But in this case, they really wanted to stick with Bowser from the beginning. Bowser was an invention of the English localization team. And we can see from the original construction manual for Mario 1, the character is listed as Bowser, King of the Koopa. So I guess they're letting us know Koopa, plural, is just Koopa. It's Koopa grammar for all of you out there. And Mario Media of the time, again, ignored the whole Bowser angle. I think they were really focused on the alliteration for King Koopa. It was just too good to ignore, which is why all of the cartoons called him King Koopa. The Dennis Hopper movie, that's how I refer to that film. The Dennis Hopper film, Super Mario Brothers, refers to him as King Koopa. And I don't think the word Bowser is present in the text of Mario 3 that exists, the very little text. Although, if you look at the instruction manual, you'll see they really want to stick with Bowser. So we see Bowser is back. He's talking about his children. That is retconned out of existence. We'll talk about that soon.
Yeah.
But Bowser is in the instruction manual, but if you look at the actual text of the game, you'll see that he is King of the Koopa. So there
It's
is
a title. You know, he's
Yeah.
signing it as his title. I get it.
I guess
It's a power move.
it would be improper if he was like, ha ha ha, King of the Koopa, aka James.
Yeah, yeah. call me Bowser. Hey, we just met. This is crazy. You know, we're just not gonna do that.
But I think Mario World is the first time he's known as Bowser within the in-game text, because if you go play Mario World, you get to this level, you'll see Bowser on the sign on his castle. And in the Japanese version, that is Koopa. So by 1991 in America and other territories, they are like, okay, now he's Bowser in the games. It's not just Bowser in the supplementary text, it is Bowser in the games. And something tells me they might have kept his name Koopa, like it is in Japan, if they didn't name the red and green turtles Koopas. I think they really goofed there. If they just would have called them something else, because I guess Noko Noko is the Japanese onomatopoeia for just like wandering aimlessly. So if you call them like dawdlers or something better than that. I need more time to think about
But
it.
then you lose the joke Koopa Paratroopa. And I
Yeah.
feel like they were really married to that. So it all kind of works backwards from there.
That's true, that's true. I think they were too attached to Koopa Troopa, Koopa Paratroopa. And I guess the understanding was he was king of the Koopa, but Koopa wasn't his
But
name.
he's more than that. He's not just the king of those turtles. He's king of all the bad guys. It really limits him. I think.
Yeah, that's true. They all work for him. We've seen the films. We've seen the documents. So we don't really need to think about Bowser, although I don't think anyone asked where it came from. But at this point in history, it's really an old-timey name for a dog, like Fido. No one is naming their dogs Fido anymore. Apologies if you have out there. But it's really not happening. And I have this weird conspiracy theory that he might be named after Bowser from Sha-Na-Na. Now, this is just me. And I don't think this is what they were going for, but Mario 3 had so many weird musical references. A lot of the boss characters who were unnamed in the Japanese version were named after people like Iggy Pop and Ludwig van Beethoven and things like that. And we have enemies like Boo. They're named after the blues musician Bo Diddley, right? That was the intent there. I'm asking you guys.
I think so. I was just trying to remember that.
Somewhere there was a Boo Diddley.
Yeah. In the instruction book. And the turtle is Dry Bones, which is also a song.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how one of his kids is Morton Downey Jr. based.
Yes.
And trying to think if there was a Bowser who was a right-wing crank talk show guy. They might have based it.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah, now he's just Morton.
Yeah.
They lose the junior because that man has his past and we don't remember his talk show anymore. But yeah, so I wanted to let you guys know what Bowser is because we have like 45 minutes to kill here. So this is Bowser from the comedy
And now,
duo group
I wait for
Sha-Na-Na.
you young greasers out there. Now listen, you young punks. I want yous to start helping around the house. You live there, don't yous? Well, don't let mom and dad do all the work. I want yous always to promise to take out the garbage every week. Okay? After that, you can start taking out the furniture and the TV set. First things first, I always say.
So I guess part of Bowser's shtick was doing the Invasion of the Body Snatchers scream at the end of his routine. But yeah, I see nobody else with Sha-Na-Na. The comedy doo-wop group that played at Woodstock. This has actually happened, and Bowser was part of it. But that's more of a reference for the 80s. So I'm saying it's possible. It's possible. If you find anyone from Nintendo of America, track them down and ask them about Bowser.
I mean, Bowser does wear a lot of like studded leather.
Yeah.
Kind of like Bowser in the game.
Yeah, I can see that. He's a comical figure.
He's encouraging children to steal.
He opens his mouth rather large, right? Okay, so see, spread this to people you talk to. It can't just be me. So we talked about the origins of Bowser. We talked about the Bowser Koopa conundrum. Now let's talk about Bowser in the core Mario games. So in Super Mario Brothers, Bowser is a sorcerer king, the instruction book calls him, who also will throw a bunch of hammers at you. So that's his plan B. If the magic doesn't work, we can start whipping hammers at you and see what shakes out there. So notably, he's at the end of every level, but the Bowser you fight at the end of every level is an imposter, because they really overthought this. And the Sorcerer King idea is to let you know, well, he used his dark magic to transform, let's say, a Goomba.
He's got body doubles like a dictator, like a
Yes.
modern dictator.
He made it popular. Saddam Hussein ripped him off.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, until you get to level 8-4, the Bowsers you fight are merely normal enemies who've been transformed into Bowser. And again, he's a magician. He can transform his enemies. He can transform the world. Why are there no people in the Mushroom Kingdom? Well, he turned them into blocks.
And horsehair plants.
And horsehair plants, which I guess is what are those? Like the horse tail? Okay, I think that was a translation error. I've never heard horsehair outside of that instruction manual.
I have nothing to add.
I'm putting Jeremy on the spot.
I've heard of it with horses. that's about it. Yeah.
Let's change the subject by watching this clip I put together. So this is the battle against Bowser, you can see. It's really a parable about bridge maintenance more than anything. And that's how that ends. Sorry, Jeremy, I interrupted you.
No, I had nothing to add.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I interrupted all of us with this clip. So that's how you fight Bowser in the original Super Mario Brothers. And you can hit this. You can hit the axe. You can throw fireballs at him if you want the points.
If you throw the fireballs at him, that's how you get to see which monster is impersonating him.
Yes, that's true. That's the one way to do it.
Otherwise, they just fall in the lava. But if you want to see which one is actually a blooper, that's how you do it.
We don't have the body horror of New Super Mario Brothers yet, so you don't get to see his corpse try to fight for life as his flesh melts off. Those games are weird, aren't they? So yeah, so there's not a lot going on with Bowser in this game. It's a very simple boss fight, and then when you get to the lost levels in the Japanese Super Mario Brothers 2, Bowser's basically the same, but you know what? In one level, he makes it out of the castle, and I say good for him. Although it is kind of eerie to see this happening against the blue sky.
Apparently there's like a blue Bowser in Lost Levels, and people, there's like an entire mythology built up around that.
Oh, I missed
remember
this.
when this came out, this was something that was discussed back when Mario Maker came out, and you could have the two different sprite colors. Or else I just completely made that up, but it sounds vaguely familiar as it's...
I think someone's raising their hand to confirm this actually happened. Yes?
There's like a mythology of like that blue Bowser was kind of like Bowser's brother.
Yes.
Louser.
There you go.
Okay.
Bowser?
Or something.
Wow.
Or Bowser, the evil eviler Bowser.
So that is Mario, that's Bowser in the first two games. And we have Mario 3 up next, and Bowser is back, and instead of changing a bunch of minions into fake Bowsers, he brought his kids along for the ride. It was his weekend, and he's gonna have a lot of fun with the kids. And the best way to introduce this game is to check out this little commercial here.
Yes.
新しい冒険が始まった。愛よ、勇気を奮い立て。僕らはマリオと強くなる。テクニカルファンタジーゲームスーパーマリオブラザーズ3。
Very nice. I'm studying Japanese now, so I can tell you Boken means adventure and Mario means Mario. As for the rest of the commercial, I'm not sure what they're talking about. Someone can help me out here. But yes, like all villains, child labor is an essential part of his operation. And this is why he has a lot of his kids along for the ride. And for the longest time, the Koopalings, or the Koopa Kids, whatever you want to call them, were known as his children. But in 2012, Shigeru Miyamoto threw down the hammer, and it was a rude awakening for all of us. So I'll quote him here. And he's been doing this a lot in the past decade, where he'll say, oh, the toads choose their gender, and Mario isn't a plumber, actually, so never say that. Yeah. So this is what Miyamoto said in 2012, quote, "Our current story is that the 7 Koopalings are not Bowser's children. Bowser's only child is Bowser Jr., and we do not know who the mother is." So I feel like he was sick of answering questions, and this was meant to shut down all discussion of the Koopa Kids.
It's one of the things that makes me relate to Bowser is that since my father also disowned me, I am also no longer the kid. So I get it.
Yeah, if we do Mario Odyssey 2, there has to be a paternity test level.
Oh yeah. You can make it all big and you run around on it, and you jump on the plus and minus to make the baby happen or not. It writes itself.
I like where this is going.
Yeah.
So it's a nice treat that you don't actually get to see Bowser until the end of this game. And when you get to Bowser, they invite a new kind of boss fight for him. That's very similar to the first one, where in the first game he's jumping and spinning fireballs. In this one he is too, but because it's a more advanced game, you have to use more advanced tactics to defeat him. Notably, getting him to stomp through the floor. So this is where this is happening. And if you have hamburger suit or fireballs or whatever, you can take him out this way.
That's poetic. That's what he did to you in the first game constantly.
Yeah, and so the first Bowser fights, it's a parable about bridge maintenance. This is a parable about floor maintenance. Make sure you hire a good contractor who is licensed and insured. So yeah, that was Bowser in Mario 3. And now we have Bowser in Mario World, so the Koopalings are back, and so is Bowser, and this time he's decided that walking is for chumps. And this time he has a clown copter that plays into the final battle, and it uses basically all of Mario's skills in this game to defeat him. So you have to use the spin attack, you have to pick up items, throw them in the air, you have to do all the new things Mario can do in this game. That's why he's in this. And so I have this here, because it's no coincidence that Bowser's clown car could be inspired by Frieza's own clown car. That's what I choose to call it. Because this debuted in the manga a year before Mario World came out in Japan, and I think it debuted in the anime 6 months before Mario World came out in Japan. So I feel like Dragon Ball was so big, they thought, what if Bowser was in there? What could happen if Bowser stole Frieza's car? Well, it would go something like this in our next clip.
She seemed really unperturbed to have been tucked in what was clearly a very dank space. Very close
Infinite
dank
little
space.
Mecha Koopas. Just unlimited Mecha Koopas on tap.
Yeah, I want to see the princess storage chamber in that clown car. We don't really get a good look inside of it.
It's real similar to stage magic.
Yeah.
You know, you have to get a princess who is very lithe and can get in the compartment underneath.
So this is a really cool and weird idea that I guess I just took at face value when I was a kid. Like, oh, I guess Bowser is in a floating helicopter with a giant clown face on it. Okay, I'm 9, this is fine. But it seems kind of like an inspired choice. So I really like where it's going from here. Bowser is no longer jumping around. He is using a vehicle. And thankfully, the Koopa clown car exists to this day in Smash Brothers. You can put any of the Koopa characters in it. It's a fun little character to play as. I like how it exists to this day in that form. So that is Bowser in Mario World. Now we can talk about Bowser in Mario 64. So in this game, Bowser has gone from World Conqueror to...
One thing, just because
Yes.
it'll bother me if I don't say it.
Go for it.
I do the same thing that you do and call that a car. There's no universe in which that's a car. I don't know why I've done that, but my entire life I'm like, yeah, that's a car. And it's a bathtub shaped like a clown that flies.
Wait.
None of those features seem like a car feature to me, but I've always called it that.
What do you mean by bathtub?
Well, it's like shaped like a
It's like a clawfoot bathtub,
it's
right?
like one of those things that holds an egg, you know, like
Yeah.
a hard-boiled egg. You know, but it's not. There's nothing car-like about it. He eventually gets a car and it has wheels and stuff like cars.
I think in Japanese it's just Koopa Ka.
Okay.
I think that's what they call it, so that's official.
Huh.
So we're going to move on. We're going to leave that question lingering. We're going to figure it out later. And in Mario 64, Koopa goes from being a world conqueror to a home invader. He has taken over the castle, and he's back, and he's huge, and he's ditched the whole castle aesthetic for his levels. His levels are all basically what you would see in early 3D renders. There's like checkerboards and floating spheres and triangles and all kinds of fun early renders. And oh, go ahead.
I think it's great that his first 3D model that you see here in the middle takes him back to that King Creeper aesthetic that we saw at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Let's check out how you fight him in Mario 64. Now, if you're younger, you might be wondering, why did Mario say that? Well, the 90s were a different time, and he has apologized to Bowser. It was a big press conference. It was kind of sad. But yes, in this game, it really is evoking the kind of Popeye-style boss fight where you're swinging him around, you have to throw him into the bombs that are floating around the arena, and they really come up with the same variation on the boss fight. So they're working in a new medium, and like with the first Super Mario game, they're basically just doing iterations on the boss fight. But it's so cool, and I think he gets bigger every time you fight him. Or he gets fake colored lighting the last time, I forget how it works.
I really like that this is the first time Mario gets his hands on him. Like he's doing wrestling moves on him.
Yes.
You know, it's not just, oh, there's a feature of your house that I can use to kill you. You know, it's not like a Home Alone thing. It's instead, it's doing wrestling moves on the lizard.
Well, I'm sure many a webcomic has pointed this out. It was a mistake to install the floating mines.
It was a mistake.
And then invite Mario over.
And the axe on the bridge.
Yeah.
And
these things should be kept
the
away
platforms
from...
and Bubble Bobble.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go back to 2004 and make a mint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What if two guys sat on a couch and talked about this? I'm never going back to PAX. Let's move on to Bowser's voices. So 2002 marked the first time Bowser had a voice in a game, but he'd been voiced for over a decade in other adaptations before that, and we have to listen to all of them because we have to fill a panel. And I want to go over the first voice, which is Akiko Wada in Super Mario Bros. The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach. That was the movie from 1986. Very inspired, very fun, and they're using as much Mario material as existed at the time. So here is Akiko Wada as Bowser.
ピーチちゃん。ねえ、ピーチちゃん。今夜の結婚式のことだけど、どんなウェディングドレスがいい？ピンク、ホワイト、それとも。やめて！誰があんたなんかと結婚すると言ったの？絶対嫌よ。でも、私はあなたを誰よりも、愛しておるのですよ、ピーチちゃん。
And that is probably the only time Bowser has been voiced by a woman, because Akiko Wada is a woman. She, mostly known as a singer, her career started in 1968, so this is basically Jack Black style stunt casting.
It's interesting you say that, because in the Jack Black movie, he's like a love-struck, romance, and I'd never seen that before. And it like predates it by, I don't know, 40 years.
Yeah.
This idea of him being, I don't know, can I say simp? Is that not okay? I don't know.
I think we can still say that.
Yeah, I don't know. Did that get...
check my Letterboxd scores. I prefer this film to the new one.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the first voice of Bowser, Akiko Wada. And I have a clip of her performing a song in 1969.
The share of Enka.
Yeah. I'm sure she said whatever her version of Skiboosh was. Looking forward to that Minecraft movie, everybody, right? He sold out his best friend to be in that movie. I'm trying to break us all down here. We're going to move on to a Canadian. Let's talk about Harvey Atkins. So he played Bowser in all of the Deke Mario cartoons from the late 80s to the early 90s. So here he is in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Here's a clip of Harvey Atkins.
Just as I planned, the Mario Brothers have arrived. Now I'll flatten them worse than I'll flatten Flatbush. Bring me those faucet freaks, now!
So you may be thinking, Bob, you screwed up the clip. The lip sync's all wrong. No, that is how it aired. They had to make 65 of these in a year. That's Harvey Atkins. I love his voice. He does a great job despite the lousy material. And what I like about his voice is that no voice actor can sound like this anymore because men are so much healthier now.
Once they got rid of cigarettes, it was all over for that style of voice acting.
Yeah, I mean, you have to live in a world where you're just inhaling lead fumes all day, gargling with gasoline and shards of glass, and then you eventually get cast as Bowser.
He was actually 18 when he recorded that.
Yes. The people aged a lot quicker back in the day. So, yeah, Harvey Atkins was in comedy hits like Meatballs. He's a character actor, or was. He passed away in 2017. But did you know that he was also a Canadian commercial pitchman? Let's see him with his Gabe Kaplan looks in this next clip.
About an incredible vinyl eavesdropping designed for the man who does things for himself. It's called Plastmo. Plastmo is solid vinyl. It'll never leak, or crack, or rust. And it never ever needs painting. Anybody can install Plastmo. All you need is Plastmo cement. You save time and money. Because once your plasma eavesdropping is up, you can sit back and relax.
That is the largest house a voice actor could afford.
Yeah, he should get a him-sized house. That's sad. He had all that Mario
Buy
money.
those on Amazon now.
I should say he passed away when his tiny house crushed him.
He was a hoarder. He had 3 books.
So yeah, that is Harvey Atkin. He rules. He also was Sam in the 90s Sam and Max cartoon. I think he was a great Sam voice. But again, nobody sounds like that. So that's Harvey Atkin. Up next, I played a clip last year, and by God, I'm going to play a clip again. Christopher Hewitt, aka Mr. Belvedere, as King Koopa. So here he is in Super Mario Brothers at the Ice Capades, and I think a great actor deserves a second look. And you can see just in this clip how accurate it is to the games, where in the video games you've all played Mario Brothers, Mario and Luigi shoot the enemies point blank in the face with guns. So they're going to depict that here. It's very, very accurate.
Just as I thought. Those foolish Mario brothers have sent boys out to do a man's work. I won't make the same mistake. Koopa Paratrooper, you back off! Koopa Troopers, to the front! Go get him, Koopa! Like a Koopa job.
And I really can't show you what happens to that guy.
Did the weapon actually affect the VHS tracking? Was it that powerful?
I think the weapon affected the editing of the video. I don't know how they did that, but yes, Christopher Hewitt, he knew what he was doing. I think he played Captain Hook on stage a lot, and he was just doing Captain Hook and green face. That's essentially what this Koopa depiction was. So love that, love seeing that. It's 6 minutes of solid gold kitsch. Seek it out if you have not seen that yet. And we're here for, I'm sure will be Gary's favorite part of the show. So Dennis Hopper as King Koopa. And
Thank you.
he's essentially doing Frank Booth meets Donald Trump, because the King Koopa in this is just a Trump parody. Like there were many Trump parodies throughout the late 80s, early 90s, like Biff from Back to the Future and so on.
Everyone pay attention to his hair. Like,
Yes.
look at what's going on, what the choices they made with this character's hair.
I'm sure he did not want to wear any prosthetics, so they're like, we're going to make
Can
your
we do
hair
something?
like
Yeah.
spikes.
Yeah, can we do something?
How do you feel about gel?
Yeah. I like it. You know?
Yeah. So he is also kind of intense in this role, but you could tell he's not as connected with the script or the vision of the Mario Brothers movie.
Python Pizza here, may I help you?
King Koopa here.
Oh, yes, sir.
I'd like the Koopa special.
Pterodactyl tail on that?
Yes, dino, lizard, hold the mammal, no worms, and spicy. Muster the Goombas! End up the de-evolution guns! Prepare for destiny! Where's my pizza?
It's weird that he's so obsessed with food when he's just chewing on the scenery so much. It's a full meal right there.
You think he would be full by now, but he's waiting for the pizza.
There's a part where he's standing on the side of a building and he goes, man, fungus freaks me out. And I like to think that was just Dennis Hopper. Like that was an ad-lib they caught.
It feels like the script was being written on the fly, so like, yeah, Dennis, more, give us more. What else would Koopa say? How would Koopa end the movie? What do you think? Yeah, he's great. I clearly was doing it for alimony payments or for his children or something, but that was my first exposure to Dennis Hopper. And originally I wanted to cut to a clip from Blue Velvet, but then I realized there's probably going to be kids here and I want to come back to Portland for this, so I chose to just play it straight here. And we also have Jack Black as the movie Bowser, from the recent movie. Of course, we all know him as Steve from Minecraft. That's the role that will define him. But he's
You
just
mean Trap Clap?
What's that?
You mean Trap Clap?
Oh yeah, Claptrap.
Oh, yeah, Claptrap. There we go. Yeah.
And like,
that guy.
if you saw his shtick 25 years ago to 20 years ago, you can see what he's doing here. So this is Jack Black for kids.
Peaches, 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 peaches. Ah! Oh, yeah! Oh! Mario, Luigi, and a donkey come true. 1,000 troops of Koopas couldn't keep me from you.
So for people who don't remember, Jack Black was really cool at one point. I don't know who is old enough to remember Mr. Show, but he was like
Yeah.
a alt comedy really kind of a mainstay. And then somebody told him his voice was good, and he got possessed by a goblin. And the goblin is just in his ear going, bigger, bigger, Jack, bigger, no matter what he's doing. So everything is that.
The goblin's name is Skaboosh.
Yes, Skaboosh the goblin.
I curse the name of Skaboosh. So yeah, I mean, he's Jack blocking it up. Kids love this because I'm not out of touch, they are, right? And yeah, he's fine. He's fine. He's just doing the thing that we saw him do, Tenacious D and all that stuff. So he's just doing his job. And then to end things here, I have Chris Collins as King Koopa from King Koopa's Cool Cartoons. And I explained this last year, but in case you weren't here, King Koopa's Cool Cartoons was something that aired in Southern California for 13 weeks. And in this cartoon package show, the framing device was King Koopa basically being Bozo the Clown, but the premise was, what if Bozo hated you and threatened to break into your home and kill you? Yeah! It didn't go over well. I think Nintendo might have found out about it, but that's what's going on with this. And I feel like this clip does not require any setup. So this is King Koopa's Cool Cartoons.
Don't touch that dial. There's more of King Koopa's Cool Cartoons after these messages.
So yes, that's just a little preview of the next clip here. So this is lost media. We talked about this last year, and it feels like every new second that comes out is like you're building more footage of the tape from The Ring. And I have cursed all of you after watching this. You have to show other people the King Koopa footage when you get back to wherever you live, or else he will come into your home. And so I have one more clip here from King Koopa's Cool Cartoons. And this is the actor Christopher Collins. He was a voice actor at the time. He was one of 2 King Koopas that played this role. It seems like it wasn't a fun thing to do. Because as you'll see in this clip, he has to do these bits that are, I think, too sophisticated for the child audience. So they're just dying on stage. And you can hear a few chuckles of like camera guys and maybe the one kid in the audience who gets it and then gets punched in the arm for laughing. So yeah, here is a bit more of King Koopa's Cool Cartoons. This clip was unearthed after my last live show, so it is technically a new clip.
King here, start your tribute. Your name's Arthur, and you sent me a tie-dye t-shirt in honor of my day? Oh, I wonder where hold on, Arthur. Where is it? Where's my t-shirt? Is this it? This must be it. Nice tie job, Arthur. Arthur, where's the dye? Arthur, where's the dye, Arthur? Where is it? Arthur, where's the dye?
Now, what do you think is going to happen next? After flagging in the joke for about 20 seconds, what do you think is going to happen next? Can we, Jeremy, what do you think will happen in this? He's looking for the die, he's saying, let me have it. Classic Punch and Judy style joke format.
Actually going to die?
Well, he would, but many years later after this clip. Gary.
That's eerie that you predicted that. I think a die pack is going to come out.
Let's see.
I know where you live, Arthur. I'll drop a complimentary piranha into your bathtub tonight, Arthur. You're dying my entire life, Arthur. But
Who's
first,
Arthur?
I have 4 tickets to the LA Zoo for a trooper in the audience.
See, King Koopa giveth and he taketh away. So he will sabotage a child's bathwater, but he will also give you tickets to the LA Zoo.
And you were, just to refresh my memory, there's a live studio audience of children there.
Yes.
Not laughing. Okay.
Quiet.
Just quiet kids scared out of their gourd, trying to figure out who Arthur is.
They're all sober as judges.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're looking around, they're saying, oh, I think Arthur's in trouble.
Yeah, is that the actor's son? Cheat code where you can play as Arthur in New Super Mario Brothers U or something.
Arthur did not make it out of that bathtub alive. But yeah, do we have any final thoughts on King Koopa? From the people on the panel. Sorry, everyone's trying to raise their hands. You can talk to me later about your King Koopa thoughts. Gary, any final thoughts on King Koopa?
Yeah, I like King Koopa a lot, but I like him more in his early incarnations where he's kind of serious and animalistic. Now it feels like he's always a brat. Like King Koopa's always like throwing little tantrums and doing like little baby things, even when his baby's not around, which he has. The other thing I want to say about his kid, about Koopa Jr., or Bowser Jr. rather, is in Bowser's Fury. I don't know if anyone's played that. It's really good, but it's got a real kind of metaphor for alcoholism. Yes. It's a real like, daddy got dark and I don't know what other adult to talk to about it. It's the most mature Bowser story that exists. It's really wild.
Yeah, it's an incredible addiction metaphor. Jeremy, how about you?
I had something in mind, but Gary just obliterated it. I can't remember what it was going to be. No, I think my favorite version of Bowser is the version you see in the Paper Mario games, which we haven't really talked about here, but you see him sort of on the side, that sort of style. They just give him a lot of personality, and it's usually, like Gary said, kind of bratty, but also he has this, he's kind of, I don't know, like he's up and down. Sometimes he's like very angry and evil, but sometimes he's just a hurt, scared turtle, just longing for love. And you can't help but sympathize once you learn his inside story.
And he's always getting pumped by some new villain created by Intelligent Systems or Alpha Dream.
He can also never lay down, like on his back. Can you imagine what that does for acid reflux or GERD? Like, I'm roughly Bowser's age, I understand. He's just in really big trouble.
Yeah, his esophagus is a mess.
Yeah.
I thought we fixed that with Bowser's Inside Story, but I guess not. Yeah, and I guess like final thoughts for me are Bowser has not had a game yet, and that's crazy because we just saw Peach get a game, Luigi's had a few games, but to this day there has been no sole Bowser game. I mean, there have been modes where you play as Bowser, but he is not playable that often, so I think we need to lobby Nintendo and get more Bowser in games, or a Bowser-focused game.
Yes.
But yes, that is my final wish on this panel. And just to let everyone know, we've been Retronauts. Thanks for coming to the panel. You can check us out at that address right there. You can support us there. And we have all kinds of fun podcasts. We've been going on for, I think, 18 years. Damn. So, one of the oldest podcasts.
As of next month.
Yeah. Thank you. And so, Gary, how about you? Where can we find you?
I'm Gary Butterfield of the Duckfeed.tv family of podcasts, part of the extended Retronauts family. We do video game podcasts about all kinds of stuff, Dark Souls and Baldur's Gate and all kinds of stuff. You can check us out at duckfeed.tv, check it out.
And we've had a lot of fun here tonight, but I want to leave you with a message, a parable, if you will. Remember, get out there and vote! And don't write in King Koopa as a joke protest votes. Thank you, everybody, for coming!
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and here are a few more videos for you to check out.